Greetings and welcome to Smartwatch Ticks. It's a beautiful day. I got a watch in a box for you. Actually, if you put an I and an S in front of it and behind it, you've got the company behind this, the IWATCHS. And I've got to tell you, the packaging on this alone, well, Apple could take a lesson from this. It's an Apple look-alike watch we're about to get into. But you got to check this packaging out. Before I show it to you, though, I want to tell you it is from a brand new partner. This is IWATCHS, and their model is the I6 SPRO. That's right, it's a GPS smartwatch, and it supports wireless charging. Whoa, I saw that eyebrow go up. Now we're getting something interesting, huh? It looks like an Apple Watch. Yeah. Let's go a little bit deeper into the specs. It's the newest tech for 2019. Got your size and all of that. It's got a little bit of RAM, a little bit of ROM, 1.54-inch 240 by 240 display. It supports both the bi-dial and GPS for position location information. And like I said, charging mode magnetic wireless charging unit. It also supports Bluetooth calling, both receiving and dialing out, two-way call, synchronize your phone's contacts and everything. Yeah, full-on Bluetooth support for that. 4.0 that you can do audio, synchronous motion, all kinds of things. It's got the anti-theft. That's basically the find your phone type of a feature in it. It says history track of the app is in the app of the tracks of your movement, although we'll talk more about that when we get into the movement section. Step counting function is combined with GPS movement data analysis. We need to talk about that as well. Alarm clock, calendar, sleep monitoring, all your typical kind of things are with it. Check the show notes for a buying link to get this watch, and I got a discount coupon for you as well. You ready to get in here? I know you are. But first, let's show you the back. You may want to freeze frame this and check it. And when you scan that, you'll find an app called LeFun, L-E-F-U-N, LeFun Wear. That's the app that's used with this one. We will be looking at that as well. Again, there's all of the product specifications. So we slide it out of its little sleeve. I want you to see all of this. There you go. There's the company, IWATCHS, IWATCHS. It's a plain white box when you take the lid off. And by the way, it's plastic. It's not just a paper box, rounded corners. Inside, you've got a nice little protector. When you lift that off, now you got this presentation. You've got the two pieces of the band and a little chiclet in a bag on the inside. Of course, we're going to grab that and take a look. When you slide it out, there you go. There is the module. Initially, it has one of these little protectors like I have on the back, which I'm now going to take off for you. Initially, when I had it, it had that also on the front, but I took it off so that I could get some good use out of it and build up some data to show you. But that would be on the front as well. So you basically take the back cover and the front cover off. On the back, you see it's got a nice big diode for your heart rate stuff. And it bumps out a little bit, so when it's on your skin, it's going to form a nice contact and light won't be getting in or out. Looks like you've got a couple little rubber spots here. Maybe that helps it so it doesn't slide around your arm as much. We've got speaker, microphone, see all that? Here's where the bands slide in. We've got a little round rotating knob and button, and then the rectangular button and another little hole right there. So that constitutes the module itself. Now, you can get deeper in here. We lift out the band, and as you can see, the little band has some tension springs in here. It's going to slide right in the hole there. We have one on this side, one on this side, and we'll put this whole thing together in a minute. It's a TPU rubberized kind of a band. And then, when you lift up the plastic, now you get to the fun stuff underneath, the wireless charger. Look at that. USB connected, little magnetic charger, and the way it works, you basically just sit this on the platform. The silly thing can spin around if you wanted to, like that, and There's a green light that flashes and fades in and out, and then when it goes solid, you're fully charged. Nice. Okay, then the manual. We have a Smart Bracelet User's Manual. Again, showing you all of the basic information about it, how to charge it, the bands, and how it loops around your arm. The QR code for scanning in the app, and a look at it from the layout. And yes, indeed, it does have the bubble display. You can either have your apps and content shown in linearly as a list, or you can have the bubbles. But it doesn't really work with the twirly knob like it does on the Apple Watch. But you can move all these around and select them with your finger. Some more information in here. A little bit more detail of the different screens that you'll see, and we'll play with those when we get in here. And of course, the same thing in Chinese on this side. Okay, time to put it all together and give you a look. And there we go. Nice, huh? Easy fit, very flexible bands. Let's turn it on. We've got 2 buttons. How does an Apple Watch work? Do we press the bottom button? It vibrates, says Smartwatch. And a little picture of a globe swirling in a very strange way. And then it comes in with a watch face. I've changed them. This is not the normal one you get at first, but it's the one I like because it's nice and big and easy to read, and that's what shows up. Okay, this button basically takes us back there. This button is your on-off button, and everything else is done with sliding. Now, by way of comparison, size-wise, I just wanted to pull in our old friend here. This is the Lympho LEM10, and it's also an Apple emulant, but it's a different size. This one's a bit rectangular. I've taken the bands off of it, of course, but you can see the size difference here. And also, I wanted to show you Alrod's latest watch face. This is one of his custom faces. It's square on the screen. And if I press and hold and slide over, he wanted to see this on video. So here you go. This is actually custom made to fit the dimensions of the screen on the LEM10. Okay, this is an Android watch. It's going to be quite a bit more expensive than this fitness watch. But just to give you a size comparison, that's how they're shaping up. This is really close to a basic Apple Watch. So let's dive into this one. The band does a little tricky thing. It showed you in the manual. You flip it under, and then you flip the other one under, and then you hook the pin from this side through the hole, right? And then you slide this down. There you go. And now you got the watch on. And that's pretty easy to do, and it's not going to fall off on you. Good band design on this one. Let's see. Tap it. Nothing? Yep, there you go. There we got the watch face. So if I slide over here, I'm into my main menu, and actually I have it set up for linear review, which we can go through a lot easier. The sport mode I'm going to come back to. The phone book, dialer, and Bluetooth messaging all works when you're tethered to your watch. Now, by tethering in this regard, I mean the standard tethering like you would with your Bluetooth headset. Okay? You're tethering it directly to the watch. Other features in here, you tether to the app. So you do 2 levels of tethering, one for calling and then one for everything else. There's a basic pedometer. When you go in here, it shows you your step count, but you'll see that you can get to that screen from sliding as well. You've got last night's sleep time, and again, we can do that as just a page, but it's also here. Then you've got your sedentary reminder that you can set if you wanted to notify you at any particular time. You can set an alarm, and here's a remote camera. We got to be tethered to the app to play with that one, along with Bluetooth connection. When you go in here, it's going to search for new devices so you can set up the Bluetooth. And a word about Bluetooth, I did have a lot of difficulty with this watch in getting Bluetooth connection to work. Really had to fuss with it quite a bit. And when I look at the reviews of the app, that's the most common comment back, is a lot of difficulty getting it connected. Once I did, though, so far, it seems pretty stable when it reconnects. You got Bluetooth music where you can control the music on your phone from the watch. remote notifier where you get your notifications. It's got interface for Facebook and WhatsApp already built in. Then you have heart rate, blood pressure, that are readings that you can take directly from the watch, and you can initiate, from the app. It's really, it just flies when you twirl it. If I go into heart rate, it's showing you a screen. You also will see that when we flip through them, and you can hit measure. It'll start itself up. It's got a colorful interface, interrogates with the diode into your arm, and then comes back with a reading for you. And I'd like to show you the readings so that we can see the size and color of the digits on whether or not it's going to be easy to read indoors and outdoors and the whole works. Okay, what I'd love to see would be really big digits, as big as that heart, but what we get are really tiny. 86 it says right now is my reading on the screen. So that's a bit of a drawback. I'd much rather see larger digits there. I guess it's still working. That takes you back one level. And then we have the same thing on blood pressure. Okay, there's a representative reading. And it's, in a sense, even worse. If you look at it, it's got red writing against the black background, and it's small. The word measure is readable outdoors. The actual measurement won't be. Just to be clear, I like to make sure you see all different aspects of these watches. You've got a basic calendar built into it and a stopwatch built into it. Now, that's what I like to see. That's what we should see on the medical measurements inside of it, are digits about like that. Because after all, what you want is the information, right? And we can pause that. And it's timing to hundredths of a second and so forth. There's your lost alert when you're tethered. You have a basic calculator in here as well. Moderate sized digits and white against black. So it's pretty easy to read. Then you've got your Find Your Phone. Again, if you're tethered, you've got a weather app in here. And it's showing in Shenzhen, China right now. It's light rain. I'm getting Fahrenheit readings on it, which is nice. I believe that's settable in the app if you like centigrade. Should be for sure. And then app. There's the QR code. You like that? You can scan that if you want to, or you can download the Leifun Wear app directly from the show notes, because I got a link to you over there. And then overall settings in here, where you do the Bluetooth settings. We saw that. This is the clock where you can set your time sync on and change the date and time manually if you want to. You've got a bit of control on the sound. You can have ringing only, vibration and ring. You have different ringtones, notifications, all of that's here. Then you have your volume, and they're set at 4 right now. There, it's not really making noise. There we go. All the way up. There's your ring sound. So you can get a sense for how loud the speaker is. And notification. It's got decent volume. Not too bad at all. Should be work well for phone calls. Your personal stuff. This is where you put in your gender, date of birth, your height and weight, and it's in meters and here. Then motion, this is where you can have flip your wrist to mute a call. Dangerous with this one, if you go to grab your phone or raise it to answer the call and flipping your wrist mutes the call, well, okay, you got to get used to it. And then here's the wake up gesture. We can turn that on so that when we twist the wrist, then it'll flash the time. The menu change. Finally, here we go. We've been using menu 1. I'm going to go to menu 2. Is anything else? Oh, yeah, there's a bunch. Well, we'll switch it and we'll come back. Menu change to menu 1. And come back out of here. Now we're talking. There we've got the whole scroll. And I've showed you this implementation on a couple of watches, and they didn't do it well. Some of the ones that are around the edge, you go over there, and then they bounce back, and they're off the edge, so it makes it dysfunctional. Well, not this watch. You can actually get in here and go to any of these things that you would like to mess around with right there. And we were in settings, and we were in menu 2, so that I can go through linearly with you and discuss it. The display brightness, I'm just down at level 2, folks. You see that's kind of a brown orange down here. I can crank this puppy up to where it's like really bright. That's going to be good for outdoors. It is readable outdoors, and indoors you can dim it down too. There's like a 1. So I think about level 2-ish, 3 maybe. No, even that's a little, oh no, that's about color matched. Okay, so we'll go with level 3. I got screen up timeout set to 60 seconds. You can go as low as 5 seconds, but for the review it's good to have it longer. Then you've got international. English is the language. These are the languages that are supported on the watch. A few, right? Oh, don't want to change it, so I'll just hit the back button, Again, this one's going to take you back and turn it off. Units are set to imperial. You can set to metric, you can reset it, and then you can get an about the watch. Now the device name is watch 4, so when you're tethering this thing, that's what you're going to look like for it to set up, as opposed to the I6 SPRO, which is its official launch name. But this is the embedded Bluetooth name that it's going to want to tether to. And that's pretty much everything in the settings on the watch. And that was the last one down here. We looked at all of this except for the top one, the sport mode. When you get in here, you have 4 different sports that you can engage in: walking, running, cycling, and climbing, okay? And when you activate one of these, it immediately starts flashing the Bluetooth connection up at the top, and it's going to start reading your heart rate, and the timer begins. And it's, of course, going to count your steps, calories, and distance travel. Let me tell you something about this. It takes a real long time to acquire GPS. I mean, real long time. I've had to set it out on a railing under the open sky for over 5 minutes. But once it locked up, I can put it on, I can take it indoors, I can go outside, and the GPS stays hooked up. But I'm just having trouble. Maybe it's having to download the locations of the satellites, or it's set more for Baidu instead of GPS. It might be location specific. It's not going to hook up on my arm here in the house while I'm talking. I could talk all day. So we got a problem with GPS hookup. But once you got it, it works. With that said, I also want to mention that we're walking and running. It's based actually on step count. You see that nothing is, well, I don't have GPS, or am I moving? But if I move with it, I don't know if it'll do this right now. Let's try. It'll start counting steps. And so your step count, calories burned, and distance traveled, no, it didn't do anything, is picked up in the walking and running, there it did, by simply the pedometer, whether or not GPS is connected. Now, I don't know how that all fits in things, because I'm used to watches that once it kicks in GPS, it takes over your distance measurement from GPS. But I walked with this, then I rode in a car, then I got out and walked some more, and I noticed that the miles matched the step count and did not change even though I had GPS on. All right, just something to figure out on this one. I could say yes. Now, if I tap over here, it shows me a couple of my completed activities. Here's a climbing one that I did. There's the time, the cost time, okay, that's how long it took, and consumption, followed by some speed and pace information, followed by delete. All right, keep that in mind now. So this is one of the data points, and this is the same on all of these. It doesn't matter which one you go in, it's going to show you the same summary. And I have a walking one here, and it's showing you that kind of stuff, including pace, average speed, 1 mile an hour, right? Okay. All right, so that's what you see in the sports mode and the summary. You notice that nowhere was I showing you a GPS track. So in the watch itself, you're not getting the track layout that you would normally see in a watch that has GPS in it. That's all on here. Now we come back to the main face, and if I press and hold, I can show you the different faces. This is kind of a fun one, and it's an active one with complications. So if I tap up here, oops, I thought it would take me to my heart rate. Does it do that? Did I miss it? Oh, you know what? There we go. I just didn't hit it. See, it took me into my step count. Wait a minute. That's supposed to be heart rate. That's steps. Okay. Maybe it doesn't. Well, it is taking me to different places, huh? Okay, there's the Bluetooth player. Oh, you know what? It's only these big ones, this big round one here and that one there. These other ones, it all takes you to the same basic menu area. Okay, that's one of the watch faces that's got a little activity to it. Here's another face to show you. Again, it's an analog face, round on a square watch. Another similar one. Here's another one. Simple watch face. Then Minnie! Gotta have Minnie Mouse. There's your actual tapping icon. Wow, how many copyright violations can we add up here? I've got the Apple Watch design, almost to the T. I've got Minnie Mouse in the motion of the watch face on the Apple Watch. I'm sure in the fine print that's all licensed, though. Then you've got the globe that was spinning in a funky kind of way when it booted up. At least this time it's going around the axis it should be. But it is an animated background with date and time on it. And we've got our little buttons here again. There, I'm over here to the heart rate again. And there, I'm over here to the sports section. Nice digital watch. That makes a simple, easy, functional watch face. And then I'm back to the big one that I like because I like to be able to read it easily outdoors at a glance. Now, with that said, I can slide up and we can go through all these different faces. There's the step count information. Last night's sleep time. Doesn't go anywhere if I press it or hold it. It doesn't give me too much detail, deep and light, no graphs or anything. There's the heart rate, the blood pressure, and then you get this thing, which shows you your Wi-Fi, or excuse me, your Bluetooth is on. You can go into silent mode or not. You can have vibration. You have the different style capability, and then you can go into night mode, right? There's your battery level and your Bluetooth hookup over there, and then you're back to time. And of course, you can get to that just by swiping down because these all circle like that. Let's take a look at the app. Now, when you search from the Google Play Store on Le Fun or Le Fun Wear, which is the app that this uses, you notice you get a variety of things, but there's two by this company, one called Le Fun Wear and the other Health. And it is said that the Le Fun Wear is the one that we're supposed to be tethered with. But it's got a really low 2.8 score on it as opposed to 3.9 for the Le Fun Health. So I'm hoping things can either improve on the basic app or they can switch and you can use the Health app. But this is the one we're supposed to use. And when you get down in it, I'm just going to show you the pages and then we'll look at some real data. You get this kind of a home page that's got your basic step count and calories burned and distance traveled. And then there it is here again, plus your last night's sleep time, your heart rate, and blood pressure. So it's a one-page summary of today's date data on there. Then you go over to a different level. You tap down into this and you can get a graph showing you your steps during the day and when it happened based on an hourly basis and your calories burned and stuff. So that's kind of nice. You get to this sports area and I'm having trouble getting the app to work on this, and it looks like they are too because there's no data in here. It's just showing travel distance and times and pace and stuff. But it's well, you'll see. Then we can get into a summary, trend summary by day, week, month, or year, and this scrolls. And then you get into all your setup for your personal data, equipment, and everything else. And that is the screens, and this is what it actually looks like. So you get it set up in your device, and then you get it here, and then you need to tether. And in order to make sure that you're tethered to the band, you of course have to have it on. You're coming over here, you're doing the device name and connection, and I'm the watch 4, and I'm having trouble getting it to reconnect automatically. So I have to go through all the stuff in my location here and tap on watch 4 so that it will identify it and connect it. And then I'll be back in a couple of hours so we can continue after it gets connected. No, just kidding. It's not going to take a couple of hours, but it is 9:09 right now, and I'm going to stop the video and check out the time when I come back after it says connected. Okay, I give up, guys. I've tried everything as I did before. It could take up to 2 hours. I'm not sure. Watch 4 connecting, uninstalled, reinstalled, and we are at 9:20, 10 minutes. So what I'm going to do, because I still have some data on here, it was skip pairing it, and I'm going to just show you some data. Nothing from today, but if I go back, there's yesterday, and then the day before is when I have some good data. So here's some step information, distance, and whatnot. I got some sleep time, I've got heart rate, and I've got blood pressure. So I'm going to go through these screens. I'm going to slide over here next to pedometer. Of course, it goes back to today, so I go back, and I go back one more, and it shows you how the step count comes through, and it's actually showing your distance in feet, which is interesting. Usually it's all in miles, right? But these are just short steps usually, and there were a bunch gathered together, and that was the actual distance, and this is when they grouped together during the time of that particular day for your pedometer information. Go back here now to our sleep time. There was last night's sleep, 10 hours. Light sleep was 13 minutes, I guess, 0.13 hour, and 10 hours of solid deep sleep. The only problem is I wasn't wearing it. But it did calculate 10 hours of good sleep for me there. None for the day before, sober the whole time. None for any of the other days. So how it picked up that I had it on and gave me a full night of deep sleep, I'm not sure. But that was an interesting complication. Let's go to heart rate. I can come back over here and show you some heart rate readings. That was that day. And here were a few on this day. And you can't go any deeper, but it tells you the date and time. If I'm paired, I can say start to measure, and says Bluetooth connection abnormal. But it counts up the time. Yeah, it's counting up now, isn't it? Okay. When it times out in trying to get a connection, it'll just come back and stop. So it knows if you don't have Bluetooth connection going. If I go over here to blood pressure, here's a reading. Looks reasonable. Here's a couple of other readings. And now we start to go, wait a minute. Systolic is the big one. Diastolic is the small one. What's going on here? Yeah. And as you read the reviews on the app, with just the app, it doesn't say specifically what band, but it talks about the readings not being reliable. It's a soft way of saying that. So you got blood pressure readings, but they're kind of funky. You've got consistent heart rate readings. Can't validate those at all. Then you got, of course, your sleep time, pedometer readings, and a summary. And that's pretty much what happens on the app in the Health tab. And when you go to Sport, now we get into something completely different. And it's got a map down at the bottom, but it's got time and stuff up at the top. It's giving you a walking option. But check this out. I can also choose riding, but it won't switch. Or running, but I can't change it. Or climbing. But I'm stuck on walking. And there's nothing that I could do to make this actually work, so it's a placeholder. It does show your map and your GPS location, derived from the GPS in your phone, mind you. But there's no activity that you can do to begin, and there's no way to import the tracks that we recorded on the band. Remember, I got a couple of events there that were tagged to GPS, and I don't have any way of bringing those in and reviewing them as history, nor seeing the tracks, nor tying it to an export so that I could see it on Google Maps on my computer or anything like that. So that's a little bit of a drawback on this. The entire fitness section seems to be dysfunctional. It doesn't matter what day you're on. Actually, you can't even change the day on this. It's just the current one, probably for initiating an activity from here, but it's only going to let you do walking, and there's no real way to start it. So let's move from sport over to trend. In trend, again, I have nothing for today because I'm not tethered. Here's the day before, and here's the one I got more data. Steps and mileage and calories. There's the whole sleep breakdown, again, without sleeping there. And then here's heart rate and blood pressure. And these show up as little dots on a graph. It shows you the time, hour, 1600, 21, 2200. There's no reference chart to tell you what level that is. There's nothing telling you whether this is systolic or diastolic, just that that dot was higher than that dot. That dot was about the same as that dot that happened at those times roughly during the day. I go in here and I get to the place where I could start the measurement if I were Bluetooth connected. And just to mention that if I am Bluetooth connected and I start a heart rate or blood pressure reading from the band, it will, or from the watch, from the phone, hello. If I start the reading from the phone like I just did, it will get a reading from the watch no matter where it is. If it's on your arm, sitting on a table, it gives you a valid reading from the watch on the screen that goes into your heart rate calculations when you're tethered, no matter where this thing is, if you have it on or not. Same thing for blood pressure as well. Get the same kind of measurement information. Now we got there from trend, right? We were down in here. Again, I have nothing for today. We went back a couple of days to here, and that's where we got these dots. So you can select any of these, and it'll take you right to that particular health page to get to it. And then finally, you have your data that's showing you kind of a cumulative total up here. Your personal data where you can put in your information in feet and pounds because it's set for British units and your birth date. Yeah, here you go. You can change your settings right there, which is nice. You've got your device, which just gives you the information about it. You supposedly can check a system update, but it doesn't seem to function even when you're tethered. Your target setting for your number of steps, and you can register that, and then a basic about for the app and its current version number. So that's pretty much all there is here related to the overall app. Again, 2 or 3 things just to point out about it. It is an attractive Apple-looking watch. Nice bands, nice fit, and a nice layout. Good selection of watch faces. It doesn't do well tethering to the app. When you do get it tethered to the app, it can produce blood pressure and heart rate information without wearing the band by activating it from here. It has no way that I can tell on the app to show the sport summary information that you've collected. You have the basic data, but there's no GPS track either on the band, and none of this data is transferred to the app. So the only place you see it is in here, and it's just your basic information. For walking and running, which again, they seem to be tied to GPS, to step count or pedometer rather than GPS. And then cycling and climbing, I'm not even sure which way that one works. When it finally connects to GPS, this goes solid. On the cycling, I did get a good bit of data, and the miles were accumulating while riding in a car as if it were in motion. So it does integrate GPS with fitness properly. It's just you can't really see the track. The GPS on this one is only used for assist in giving you better distance information from cycling, because the others seem to still be tied to step count for their activity here in getting the miles. It's based on the step count. Wow, we covered a lot on that one, huh? It is called the I6 SPRO GPS smartwatch, and it has that really cool wireless charging. It's a really good match to an Apple-looking watch, and it has a nice band that is unique in its ability to put on. You can get it over here, and then you can get underneath it and press to get it to snap in there, which the other way around is a little tricky, and slide it back in through here to have it on your arm. There we go. It is, the screen is now locked unless you actually hit end. So that's a good thing too. It's got a lot going for it. Just needs a tightening up on the app, Bluetooth connection, and robust information in the app, and good Bluetooth integration as well. You've been watching Smartwatch Ticks. We are on the web at smartwatchticks.com. There's a buying link for you for this one with a discount coupon if you're interested. Check it out. We'll see you again soon.